We're ready.
I don't have a copy of it.
Good evening and welcome to the South County Fire Board of Commissioners regular board meeting for June 16, 2026. I will call the board to order and ask everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, board members, you have in front of you the draft agenda. And Chief, I don't believe there's anything else for the draft agenda. Is there anything else for the draft agenda? If not, I'll move that we adopt the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Chan. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward to the item number 4, which is the consent agenda. That contains the June 1, 2026 claims vouchers totaling $7,854.23. And in 4B, the June 16, 2026 claims vouchers totaling $1,268,781.66. I will move the adoption of the consent agenda items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Fernhoff. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda items. Is there a discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward in the agenda to item number 5, which is approval of the meeting minutes. And this evening in 5A, we have the June 2, 2026 regular meeting minutes and the June 8, 2026 Mukilteo Joint Special Meeting minutes. I will move the adoption of those two sets of meeting minutes. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Chan. So moved and seconded to adopt those meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we will move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. That moves us forward in the agenda to item number 6, which is public comment. So I will start first here in the room and then move over to the Zoom platform. Is there any request for public comment here in the board meeting room? Go ahead, please come forward.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you. My name is Barb Heidel, and I live in Mill Creek. I wish to extend a thank you to Station 276, the Community Outreach Team, South County Fire Deputy Chief Chalfant, Assistant Chief Sherman, the volunteers, and all those who helped to make the open house a pleasant experience. Thank you to Commissioner Winkelman for attending the open house, especially since we are not in his district area. It was interesting that I was not the only one who didn't recognize him at first. Ask him and he'll tell you about that. Everyone I spoke with was very willing to engage in conversations. While I was there, the line for the free bicycle helmets was long, with everyone patiently waiting in turn. Thank you to all for the nice experience. Having these open houses are important to connect with communities and openly answer questions and concerns. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other request for public comment here in the board meeting room? If not, let me turn it over to Ms. Blankenship to see, do we have any requests for public comment on Zoom?
We do not.
Very good. Thank you. I'll come back one last time to the room if there's any request for public comment here in the room. If not, thank you. We will move forward in the agenda then to item number 7, which is the fire chief's report. Good evening, Chief Maxwell.
Thank you, Chair, board members, guests and liaison. I have a few things, and then I have a few follow-up things our CFO Bothwell is going to wrap us up with. First off, we had 2 graduates from Central Washington's paramedic program, and as seems to be standard, the top of the class is called the captain. And so Brittany was the captain and Henry was like the number two. So the top two students in the class. We seem to do that quite often. So proud of them. And so we have 2 paramedic graduates. So I told you we had 11 in the pipeline. So now we only have 9. So pretty excited. Congratulations to both of them.
Great.
And Chief Keen and Chief Hughes went over to Ellensburg to participate in the graduation. And then Barb kind of stole my thunder there, but thank you for the very kind words. As you can see, we had about 400 people participate that dropped by Station 76, 200 bike helmets, which is so important, underappreciated sometime, and window locks of 50. And if everyone remembers, we've in the area, our outreach team kind of leads the Snohomish County Safe Kids, and we've currently brought down the window fall deaths down to about 0 currently. So these are important little things that we do. Next slide. So we had a pretty significant hazmat incident over in Mukilteo, and the Mukilteo battalion chief, I could hear them. I listened to it. We're instantly calling for our hazmat team, which we've talked about recently. One of the FEMA Type 1, one of the most highly capable from Seattle to the Canadian border. It was there was a chemical reaction that created a kind of a explosion. We had a patient. Our hazmat team worked just expertly. They did an incredible job handling the incident and even working closely with the hospital on all the care going on at the hospital. So they did just a great job. So I wanted to recognize that. Lastly, I wanted to talk, I've talked a little bit about it earlier. I want to just bring it up again. I do, as fire chief, I'm concerned about the growing wildfire risk in our area. We are drying up in this area. When I was a kid, fire season was August, and now it's going May through October. So that it's changed significantly. And if you look at this, our summer is expected to be a lot warmer and a lot drier. In fact, they're saying for the Pacific Northwest, about 60 to 70% warmer for the summer, and about 40 to 50% drier. Couple of things this makes me think about. They used to talk about how moisture, humidity was the driver on explosive wildfires, but the latest science shows it's temperature. So when I see the temperature is going to be 60 to 70% higher this summer, that concerns me. But here's the other thing. When the temperatures go up, our EMS calls go up because people aren't climatized. People don't have air conditioning. Houses aren't built that way. So when I see these things, it concerns me. And then if we can go to the next slide, please. The other thing is wildland interface, and that's, where homes and houses mix. We have a lot of green belts in this area. And like I said, we had more decent fires in the green belts last year than I've ever seen. And they've changed it to recategorizing it, and it's called a wildland intermix. And if you see the image on the left was how they used to look at it, and the image on the right is now how the county has categorized it. So our wildland risk is even growing for us. And so when I say we're going to have to, we need to start changing our wildland posture, even though we're in a urban area. And while this summer is going to be warm, when they talk about all the El Nino and El Nino, I'm actually even more worried about next summer, because what that means is we're going to have a dry winter and less snow in the winter if the climatologists are correct. So we just need to start incrementally being more prepared with our wildland capability. The time has arrived. They've always said we're about 10 years behind California. Well, we keep saying 10 years. I think 10 years are starting to click off. So I'll be talking more about that. And that will conclude my report. Oh, I did have some interesting statistics on Snohomish County wildland fires. So they've been tracking them since 1973. They've had 11 major wildland fires since 73, and all of them happened after 2002. And the 3 largest happened in the last 3 years. So there's an interesting pattern happening here. And you guys all know I have a wildland background. And so I'm always looking at what we have. We have a lot of our green belts are draws. And those draws, the heat, they act as chimneys. And those are actually very conducive to a rapidly, we call it a run, a fire makes a run. Those are very conducive to runs. So we'll probably be talking more about that, talking about increasing our capability and also assessing, how do we, Chrissy and I have been talking, how do we start to message our public and how do they prepare? How do they make their homes safe and less susceptible? Because there's things they can do. As simple as not stacking wood up against your house, which we always do in the Pacific Northwest. There's simple things we can do to make our community safer. And so I see there's a question, but
Oh, yeah. Commissioner Wankelman, go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thank you. And this is definitely a growing concern among a lot of people that I've talked with. First question I have is, do you feel that we have the capabilities, the tools, and the resources necessary for this summer?
Well, I think we've started, and I wasn't going to go into this in depth, but I will. So when I talked about, there's a lot of concern in like our tillers and our heavy apparatus getting run to a lot of EMS calls. And I mentioned the squad concept at our workshop, which would be like a pickup truck or a brush truck, which could run first out like where the tiller is or where ladder 10 is, and where they would be running on calls and putting the tiller second out. Usually those are in busy areas, so it increases our reliability. And if there's a fire, then there's 5 people that can go. So there's lots of benefits, and it's a much lower cost option. But if we start running those 2-person squads as EMS and they're brush truck capable, we can increase our EMS capability, lower the risk and cost of our heavies, and increase our wildland capability at the same time. So those are some of the things, just some of the creative ways I'm looking at how do we tackle it. Because like I said, when the wildland risk goes up, the EMS calls go up with the heat as well. So we have a lot of things to tackle at the same time.
And that's kind of the concern I have personally, because we do have a lot of things that we have to tackle. And my question is are we prepared for this summer if those 2 items are to increase? And that's just, not now, but at some point I would appreciate, if you don't have the tools necessary to address the rising risk, what is required to do that and the impact of those costs. I would appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, I will be proposing some of those. You guys will that's kind of a flavor for what I've been thinking, talking through with the team. The good thing is we have been sending our people out on wildland, and I think that's good because they're getting experience. It's so critical, especially when our green belts, the dangers of getting in there and putting our crews in there. I don't think we understand how risky that can be. So when we have enough staffing, sending our people out on wildland is preparing us for the future here. And we are preparing because we have our brush truck. Thankfully, the board purchased our first brush truck. And then we also are putting wildland packs on all of our engines. So all of our engines also have a capability as well. Commissioner Wankelman.
Thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. So thank you for thinking and being proactive in this. Again, as risk rises, it's better to be proactive than reactive. And so very grateful for your comments.
Yeah, thanks for your question. And Sheriff,
We've got more questions. Commissioner Fernhoff.
Thank you, Chief, for your report. I just want to echo what Chief has said. When I came here from Southern California, where I first learned my firefighting, which was in wildland and various skills, everything burned like gasoline down there. And I came up here and they said, you're going to go on a wildland deployment. I said, oh, that sounds fun. Expecting fast moving wildland fire. No, it took a road flare to get things to light back then. Everything was super saturated. The moisture density was very high. Today, that is not the case. You can walk through some of our green belts, and I'm just echoing what Chief has said. The conditions have changed. Just look out the window right now. There is a steady 21-mile-an-hour breeze that's going on through our region right now. Red flag warnings in the east, and we've already deployed through state MOB, I think, on at least 3 or 4 fires. My phone's been exploding. So a couple of things to think about during this time, and just to support your position, Chief. And I'm glad to hear that there are wildland packs on our standard engines, because those are the lightweight firefighting capabilities that you need for that kind of environment. We also have FIFA World Cup events that are going on as a resource drawdown. We have state MOB, which is a resource drawdown from many smaller departments. There's a lot of complaints online right now, small departments that have sent their crews east.
Yep.
And those communities are saying, what about my community? Where are my people going? We're already a small department. Why are you leaving? And just not to put bad, knock on wood, feelings in the air, but we worry about this World Cup event and the culmination of different high-profile events that are going to be taking place in the region, all over the region, between the pride parades and so forth, which are huge resource drawdowns. One of the tactics that's in the terrorist playbook is wildland fire.
Mhm.
So is not only a distraction, but a resource drawdown. So keep that in mind as we move forward into this season. It's been on the lips of those folks from our Fusion Center, in our fire community, and a lot of different dynamics that go with that. So thank you, Chief, for raising this. Thank you for keeping us informed as the board. We know that things will be changing. I'm just waiting for our first red flag here in the Western Washington, which will be interesting.
Thank you for that. Yeah, we've already had brush fires here. We've responded to 2. I don't think they were very large, but it's just abnormal to have that. in
Did I
this
mention the
area.
4th of July?
Yeah. We've canceled it.
I think we have Commissioner Chan, then Commissioner Lawrence. Commissioner Chan.
Good evening. Thank you for Melissa sending out articles, and I saw that whole articles in there. That is kind of really weird on the 8th, when you go McAteel, you tell them that you are we're the hazard. The only one in this area,
It's the
Okay.
type 1.
step 1. But then when I saw the picture, you got Everett respond and so McAteel respond. So were they just helping, or do they don't have a massive?
So there are assets around the county. We're the only ones who have the minimal staffing, and then we're the only ones that are type 1.
Okay,
But we have a countywide hazmat team. We still help each other, and we still call for that regional response because it takes so many people on a hazmat.
right.
So we still operate as a countywide team. We still help each other.
So, well, it also that back in, I think in the southern part of Washington, I think Longview, is that 11 people
Yep.
die?
Yeah.
That explosive, and that is crazy, right? I mean, that is to me, and I still remember, I wish I'm born smart, but I'm not. Commissioner Matter asked a list of storage people have hazardous.
Target hazards.
Yeah. Have we ever got that list done, or
We've
should
done
we?
some work on that. Chief Chalfant, do you know if we've done any more on the just target hazard? I know we've done work with our pre-fires on target hazard work. Have we, Commissioner Chan's just wondering how much work we've done on that over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with him. Commissioner Matter is the one who asked for it, and also asking we should have some kind of routine checking on these places.
Yeah,
So make sure they are
Oh,
not, yeah.
well, with our pre-fire program and stuff, we do have buildings such as Swedish Edmonds is one of the target hazards
Right.
that we've done extensive pre-fires on and listed for our WSRB rating. We've got like a top 10, and without that list in front of me, I can't tell you much more than that. I think I remember Swedish Edmonds as being up there at the top though.
Yeah, I think Commissioner Matter mentioned that we should constantly, I still remember that was in Shanghai, the whole big explosions and everything else. I don't know, you guys remember that? It's a huge thing that at that time he mentioned that. So it would be great if we can, have someone so we have a preventive fire marshals and all the preventive thing, right? This is a good, yeah.
Yep, our fire
Yeah.
marshal's working on it. And then also at the workshop, I talk about we having a dedicated leadership for our special operations, because that's what that would fall under. You know, all of these hazmat, tech rescue, marine, wildfire, starting for an organization of our size, we probably need people dedicated managing those programs.
That's proven that I know that Musketeer always say, oh, they're just bedroom community, not really, but they still have a lot of factories and things like that, be doing Boeing work or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The material that they're holding is critical, right? Can be dangerous.
Yeah, I drove around there quite a bit before we presented. I mean, we used to respond there as paramedics.
Right.
And I was actually surprised at how much industrial growth
Yes.
they have had over the years. So
Right.
you're exactly right.
Especially that on that road.
Yes.
Yeah, so it would be great if you guys let me know, let us know that how you kind of maintain that program and
Oh.
what prevention.
With the pre-fire program that we have, it's a countywide based system.
Okay,
So we all use the same program. We have the same symbols that we use. We have the same SOG policy with it. And Mukilteo is pretty well built out. Their prevention group over there has done a really good job. Granted, it's a lot smaller area,
Right.
but they've done a really good job of building those pre-fires. And we can see that on our mapping system as well, since we're in the same program.
I'm especially concerned about smaller operator. They may not have the budget, they may not careful training the people and that type of thing. So that need to
Yeah,
keep our eyes
I
on.
would say in the future, where I see that going is mapping out the ravines, addressing some of the wildland fires, because there's a lot of ravines up, as you know, up and down Puget Sound.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes, given the right moisture conditions of the trees and the foliage, undergrowth, the right wind, the right air temperature, the right starting point, and most of Western Washington just go up in flame. They'll all be crispy critters. It's nothing going to stop it. And so I don't think there is an answer other than chopping down all the trees and clearing out all the undergrowth in Western Washington, which is probably not going to happen. It could happen sometime. And I remember asking the emergency management 6-7 years ago what the plan was, and I never got much of a response. I think it's the elephant in the room, or the problem that's so big that nobody probably could get an answer, but they're not even working on it. So hope it doesn't happen, at least not this year.
Thank you.
Okay, Chief, did you have anything more on that part of your chief's report?
I did not.
Great. Were you turning it over to?
We have some insurance and GEMT, some quick updates, follow up from last week.
With Mr. Bothwell.
With
Good
Mr.
evening.
Good evening. So 2 quick updates for you. The first is related to our stop loss policy. You may recall last week that our broker said that our stop loss policy is up for renewal on July 1st. The good news is they are going to renew with us. The bad news is there's 2 changes they're proposing that negatively affect us in the proposal. So despite the positive claims trend that our broker described to you last week, our stop loss carrier has proposed a 29% increase in our premium. That equates to about $300,000 over the next 12 months. Additionally, the carrier proposed something called lasering one of our dependent members. So this is the member that's been most expensive for stop loss and for the plan in general. And what that means is that there's a higher member specific deductible for that member. So we would pay more before stop loss would kick in. And the laser increases our risk over the next year by about $875,000. So the carrier did offer us a policy without the laser, but it was $1 million higher. So our broker is advising us, and it appears to be in our best interest to go with the lasered policy. And the reason that we're getting this information so close to the renewal date is that our broker has been negotiating with Commencement Bay, the carrier, up until late last week with their executives, trying to get them to recognize our recent change in claims history. And also there was an anomaly in the data they were not sympathetic at all to that, and they aren't budging on the renewal. So at this point, we have to get the chief to sign the renewal, and we'll bring that back to you for ratification in July. And yeah, I mean, I guess the reason is just that the negotiations took longer. We already have a really short window of time for these renewals. We see it with our property and casualty insurance too. The underwriters want to get the data when it's really fresh, so they have a 30 or 60-day window to get these renewals to us. And so when we have problems or things we need to negotiate, that eats at the time. And so that's why we're sort of in this time crunch that we're in. So the second, and then the first meeting in July, I will be back with a financial update for the healthcare self-insurance plan. And so we'll factor these things in and we'll get a little smarter about what this means in terms of 2027 rates. And we'll bring that information back to you in July. The second update is much better. About an hour ago, I got a email from the state and the GEMT program. And so we have our 26 settlement amount. It's a little over $12 million. We had budgeted $8.8 million because we're stepping ourselves down in anticipation of the new allocation method at the state. So that's about a $3 million one-time positive variance for revenue. So we were sort of expecting that it would be higher, and we want to treat those overages or those amounts over what we think we're going to get once the system normalizes or they change the allocation method. We want to treat that as one-time money, and so that's what this will be. And we should get that within about 60 days. So I'll give you a heads up as soon as we receive that, but it is on its way and we know the amount now. So that's good news. So those are my two updates.
Thanks, Chris. And that concludes my report.
Questions for particularly Mr. Bothwell on that portion of the chief's report? Any questions? Mr. Bothwell, actually, can you just go back over the two numbers? You went over just a little bit fast on the stop loss. Basically what our either locked in premium increases or what our risk was. I thought you said a 29% increase. So it'd be a fixed amount of about $300,000 more than the last period of time. And then on you called it the lasering policy, like an $800,000 additional risk to us, but not necessarily fixed cost.
Correct. That would be our maximum exposure, would be the $875,000, because stop loss will kick in. They're just raising the limit on that particular member or that dependent. And so if they hit stop loss next year, we would have paid $875,000 more than we would have for a member that hadn't been lasered. So that's our maximum. Of course, we hope that it's going to be something significantly less than that, or if the claims trend continues, they could be just falling in line with normal membership. We don't know, but 875,000 is sort of the maximum. That's sort of the bookend of what the additional risk is.
Okay, I just want to clarify on that, and that is that's very good news on the GEMT.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe since Chief Eastman was chief, if we've talked about GEMT in the context of what we were, or maybe the budget, when we were talking about the budget in the fall, the stepping down of that, and the 8 million was part of this essentially step down in the amount that we were anticipating. And maybe you can actually refresh my recollection. Were we expecting an additional step down in 2027, or were you anticipating a level at the 8 million in 2027?
No, so we're going to step down again. So based on the proposed changes to the way that the plan assets are allocated, we would expect to see about a 40% reduction in our GEMT collections. And so what we've done is we used to forecast it using we still forecast it using the average of the collections of the last 3 years. We take the average of that, and now we've deducted 20% in this year, and then we'll deduct it another 20% next year, so that we're ready when those changes at the state come in. They have to shop this agreement around to a million different parties, and so it's a pretty bureaucratic process, and it takes a little while, but we know those changes are almost certain in the future. We just don't know exactly when that's all going to get through. So we'll be ready when they are. In the meantime, any additional, the more that they drag their feet or that takes longer, the more we're going to operate under the other plan, which is better for us. And so we'll continue to treat that as one-time money for us,
Right.
Which helps out with things like the self-insurance plan and other increases that we get. So
It's a 1 year of good news, not multiple years.
yeah.
Okay,
Great.
well, I'll take one if I can get it. That sounds good. Okay. Other questions for Mr. Bothwell on that part of the chief's report? No? Okay, great. Thank you both.
Thanks, Chris.
All right, that moves us forward in the agenda then to item number 8, which is the union report. And I believe we have Britton Kinder on Zoom with us. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair and Board of Commissioners, for having me.
Yes.
Apologize for not being able to get my camera on this evening. I usually like to have that on. I can see your faces, so you can see mine, but having a little technical difficulties.
That's okay. It happens.
First, would like to thank everyone on the board for voting yes last week to improve our working conditions and willing to address safety concerns within our fire stations on the capital facilities plan. Also, I know the board appreciated it and they enjoyed being in attendance at the workshop last week and being invited to that. They saw the benefit from that. So thank you for that, having us, having our e-board along with your board of commissioners for that workshop. Then lastly, we got to work with the PIO team doing a collaborative post earlier this month. Typically, our union and our department do their own social media post. But we wanted to collaborate, which is something we don't do too often for Pride Month, just to show unity and support, since that's both of our strong values as a department and as a union, to be inclusive in that matter. And we thought the collaboration went really well. So just want to say thanks to the PIO team for that. And that's all I have for the report. I can take any questions.
Great. Thank you. Any questions from the board? Any board questions? No questions. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Yep. Thank you.
Great.
Have a good night.
All right. Next up then on the agenda moving forward is item number 9, which is capital facilities planning. And that starts with 9A, our communications update from Director Veely on communications in general, but also a look at the draft bond explanatory statement. Good evening, Director Veely.
Good evening. Thank you very much. Share my screen here. Okay, so we're just going to take a fresh look at this timeline that we've been looking at for quite some time now, following the board's action last Tuesday. So we're in June and July, and we are making some good headway on some of our public-facing materials in regards to the bond. So our goal right now is to really make sure that information is available for people who want to learn about the bond measure. So we have a much more robust website that is more easily to navigate to from our main webpage. We are drafting some public materials. We are working toward getting a calculator on our website. Right now we have information that's broken down as to several different assessed values so people can kind of see what the impact to their home would be. So we'll kind of take a closer look here at June and July. We also published our newsletter. We got that to the printer on Thursday, and that should be in mailboxes on June 30th, and that will have quite a bit of information about the bond measure. We issued a news release that was published in several media outlets last week. And then there you see our website. If anyone wants to navigate to that, it's southsnowfire.org/bond. We are also moving into our internal communication focus. So to start, we have several online meetings that we've scheduled starting this Thursday with crews and staff so that we can begin to educate internally, not only about the facts of the measure, but also about what we can and can't do as public agency employees. And then I'll also be sharing a communication guide for the board in the coming days. We've already begun having some intergovernmental communications, and those will continue. Staff will be reaching out to all of our cities to make sure that they know we're available to come make presentations to councils if they would like us to. And then we'll be starting to schedule community meetings. I want to bring your attention to the 2 presentations that we do already have scheduled for the month of July. On July 6th, we'll be speaking to the Edmond Civic Roundtable. And then on July 15th, we've been invited to come speak to the Linwood City Council. So I also want to bring your attention to these dates at the top of this slide here. So in the news release that we did send out last week, we also called for applications for the pro-con committee. Those are going to be due by 5 p.m. July 1st. And then the board will have an opportunity to begin discussing those applications at the first meeting of July, which is on July 7th. And then the last date to select a pro-con committee and get it to the elections office on time would be July 21st. So if we move forward to August, all of our documents have to be submitted to the county by August 4th in order to make the November ballot. So that's going to be the board resolution, the explanatory statement, which is in your packet, and also the pro-con committee selections. The explanatory statement does not require approval from the board, but we should certainly, continue discussing that. And I would love your review of that so that we can make some final changes to that. We still have a little bit of time there. You can see that pro-con committee statements would be due on August 10th. That will be done by the committees themselves. In August and September, we'll be looking to have community meetings, meet with community groups. We'll be working on an FAQ card. We get one mailer every election, and then we'll continue talking about the measure on social media. So in October, ballots will mail on October 15th, and that's the same date an FAQ card will be in the mail. And then we'll be publishing our newsletter during the month of October as well. A lot of community events are scheduled during this time. So we'll have a lot of opportunity to educate people about the facts of this measure. September and October are going to be some very busy months for us, in August as well. We have National Night Out. We have several fire camps, a lot going on across the RFI. So that is kind of where we're at as far as our education plan. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Questions for Director Veely? Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of times we always thought people would pay attention to us. Majority of the time it's not, because we're not as exciting as any other city council and all that stuff. Is there any way, I hope it's legal to put on the newspaper, in a local newspaper especially, just saying that, we're looking for pro and con people and that type of thing. So we have more candidates or good people that might join on the debate.
Yeah, I mean, primarily how we've advertised it in the past is, through our news releases, which are published directly, in a news article and then
Right.
also on our website. I could speak to our council about that if we feel like we need to take additional steps. I know we haven't really gotten a lot of feedback on that so far.
Yeah,
it sounds like.
I think a lot of time is good because a lot of people still digital or paper, newspaper. And I do kind of support our local newspaper. I think that is critical because most of our coverage is from local newspaper, right? I don't see Wall Street is going to come covering us or CNN. So I think it's good that we have a notice in the newspaper. It's pretty, obvious in the front page or side page, whatever that is. Thank you.
Other questions for Director Veely? If not, I do have a question, Director Veely. As I was thinking about that July 6th Edmonds Civic Roundtable, that's our first kind of presentation opportunity. Just due to the way that they have that set up, it almost calls out for more commissioners than not, due to kind of the roundtables that they have and the desire to fill each table with a member of South County Fire, whether that's a commissioner or a staff member. But I was thinking, and I kind of wanted to ask, how many commissioners intended on attending that? Because we may want to call that as a special meeting, and that would actually be before our first meeting of July. So I didn't want to surprise you with potentially calling a special meeting before our next regular meeting, because this would be Monday, July 6th, and our next regular meeting after tonight is Tuesday, July 7th. Although we do have that special meeting for redistricting, but it won't be like a business type meeting. So just wanted to see if, obviously it's a few weeks away, but have you thought about it, Commissioner Wittes?
No, just saying.
Attend? Yeah, I'll be there.
So I think
Yes.
it doesn't hurt to have a public meeting, even though everybody show up.
Well, it's really about we want to be sure we're not violating any laws.
Yeah, no,
Make sure
but,
that
but I
we're.
think we declare as a public meeting in there.
Right, right, a special meeting. Okay, well, then I'll go ahead and call it as a special meeting so we can have all the commissioners attend and talk in those roundtables about fire district business. So that'd be good. Okay, all right. I was, saw that in the calendar vis-a-vis our, I'm not as concerned about the July 15. We can talk at the next board meeting about that. But I wanted to be sure I covered the July 6th. Good. I'm trying to think. I don't think Commissioner Director Veely. I think that covers all of my questions. Good. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us forward on the agenda then to item number 9B, which is the Station 22 Construction Bid Award for action. And this is with Chief Curtis. Good evening. And we also have with us tonight, we have Mr. Harris and Mr. Bailey. Good evening.
Good evening, Board Chair, Commissioners, any liaisons that might be online, I'm sorry, and our guests and staff. I'm joined tonight by our consulting team and design team from Concertus, Andy Bailey, and our lead architect, Brian Harris from TCA. Tonight, we're going to be asking for your consideration and approval for authorization for staff to enter into a contract and authorize W.G. Clark to build Fire Station 22 off of North Road. But before we do that, I'd like to go back and revisit the design aspects of the fire station from a high level and give a quick presentation so that you can see some of the design concepts that we've incorporated. And then afterwards, I'll pause and allow, or I'll ask for any questions from the board.
Sounds good.
So pardon me as I get set up here. Okay. So just as a reminder, this is the property that is just south of Linwood High School on North Road, 18717 North Road. This is a 2.25 acre site. And as you can see in this illustration, it's situated next to what is the Williams pipeline. This is a natural gas pipeline and it's recognized as an easement, and it's a 60-foot setback for that fire station. So it's situated there, and then there's wetland just to the right of the fire station on the bottom right corner of that property. It's 2 stories. A lot of those setbacks necessitated a 2-story construction. We've incorporated security features for secured parking, and it also has EV charging stations, public facing and employees. This is a quick illustration of the floor plans. This concept is going to be new for South County Fires, that it's a 2-story fire station. We've incorporated sleeping arrangements into the first floor. So directly behind the bays are the bedrooms, and the design is around the bays to increase turnout time and response times for that station. The station is designed to sleep 6 firefighters, which allows us to run either a ladder or a engine company and a EMS unit, whether it's medic or aid unit. So we're focusing on future. The exercise room is large. You'll see it's in the bottom right of your screen. That also has a large door that allows our staff to not only work out in interior, but also on the nice days they can work out, and it spills out into the parking lot and gives them a lot of more room and flexibility. This is a illustration or a depiction of the second floor. You'll see 2 staircases that are strategically located to allow crews, or whether they're in the northernmost portion of the station or in the kitchen area, or even out on the deck, to descend the stairs quickly to the apparatus bay. Note that the bedrooms were on the first floor, so we don't have any concerns as far as sleeping firefighters trying to navigate the stairs in the middle of the night.
No pole?
No pole currently, although we are considering those for future stations as things are getting more urbanized and we're fighting for property. So we may have to have that conversation. This is an approach shot of the fire station, and I wanted to draw your attention to the apparatus bay doors. There was some discussion about the seismic resilience on these bay doors. So these are what we call the high-speed coiling doors. So we'll talk a little more in depth on this slide here. I'll show a quick video. Sorry, no audio, just video. Note the speed that these doors are opening and how quickly they clear the opening and how little space they take above the apparatus. They're in a coiled fashion, which allows us to commingle other building aspects or mechanical systems. So I just wanted to give you a quick snapshot as to what we are designing and our considerations with our design team as we try to focus on speed and efficiency on this fire station. And what's very important to recognize is a very modern, open feel to the floor plans of the fire station, which you'll see in the coming slides. Very open concept when it comes to report writing in the upper left screen. This is very similar in concept to some of our current fire stations, specifically Fire Station 16 in Edmonds. We found that that's very functional. We've also built in a lot of design features into the wall coverings to avoid damage to the walls, such as in the bathrooms with tile or in the workout room with plywood. That's a finished plywood surface. And we've been experiencing firefighters inadvertently hitting the walls and causing sheetrock damage. And it's unintentional, but that causes repair needs. And so this will help alleviate those costs by just being a little more proactive versus reactive. This is a project timeline. You're very familiar with this. This just illustrates where we are today. We're wrapping up the bidding process. Hopefully with board's approval tonight, we can move into the construction phase. And we anticipate a pre-construction meeting within the next 15 days after contract execution. This memorializes the bidding process. Again, WG Clark was our lowest responsive bidder. We did research and had a very satisfied response as far as our research, as far as bid history, claims record, and performance. And I'll pause right there and I'll ask the board if they have any questions regarding the bid process, and I can turn to my colleagues to my right and ask them if they'd like to answer that.
Questions from the board members on the bid process? Questions? Any questions? Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
So I'm doing really good here. So we have different bidding prices, right?
Yes, sir. We received 5 bids. They were all considered eligible. They met the requirements, the minimum requirements, and met the timelines.
Okay, so we only get five bids out here.
Yes, sir.
And then you would look at the qualifications and everything else and.
Yes, sir. There was a, and I can allow Brian probably best to answer or just cover what the expectations and the criteria were for bidding.
Yeah, good evening. So there was pretty extensive criteria that was vetted with the department legal counsel prior to it going out to bid. They had to have projects, public projects that were greater than $6 million. There was a time limit within the last 8 years, which was interesting because there's been so much non-public work in the last 8 years since everything's been on fire.
I know you discussed it a little bit before. I just refreshed my memory.
Yeah. So very extensive, process. And we contacted references, both client, architectural references, and it was pretty exhaustive over a few weeks.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And, this screen basically summarizes what Brian just spoke of. It took a lot of staff's time, and we were appreciative that we had additional staff to help us through that process. So with that, I'll pause. That's the end of my presentation. I'll pause for any more questions. Yes, sir.
Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw the color a little bit different from our existing fire station. Is that going to be, are we going to have some distinguished people eventually? You have other news station, everybody saw it, hey, it's a South County Fire Station, or each one really different, with different design and everything else?
So I think there's a couple things that I wanted to address with your question and statement there, sir, is we are trying to build concepts or prototypes so it's easily repeatable so that we can save costs
Right.
as we move into the capital facilities plan. This particular fire station was a collaborative effort between all administrative chief officers to come up with a design concept that we felt was a fresh look. We don't know exactly how this is going to play out through the capital facilities plan quite yet because we have to consider neighborhood layout, urbanization, if we're in a metro area or if we're in a more rural area, how it fits into the community. I think our design team probably has an opinion on that as well.
Yeah, and definitely, this was very specific with a lot of collaboration with the RFA. One thing that's always important is making sure that these are very community centric facilities. How do they reflect local site circumstances for heat gain and all of those items, and then making sure that these are built really off of a kit of parts, so there's consistency for the users in these facilities.
So you mean community, you don't want people to stood out, that's a fire station. It's kind of like,
I think
kinda-
it's a balance.
so
Yeah.
what,
Oftentimes you don't want it to look like a house. You want it to have some civic presence, yet at the same time, for those living in the facility and adjacent scale, we want to make sure it's tailored to that as well.
I guess usually before, people always identify where my fire station is. The neighbor want to know, but I guess nowadays you don't really get into that, right? Because everything's call 911 and whatever it is, right?
Yes, sir. Many times over my career, my 30 years in the fire service, I've come back to a fire station to find somebody standing at the door that's had just called 911 or is in the process. And they came to a fire station hoping that there were firefighters there, but we were on another call.
Yeah,
And so we encourage people to call 911 and let us come to them versus them coming to the fire station.
yeah.
Just to ensure that the closest available unit's available.
Or just you get checked blood pressure and all that stuff.
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We do encourage visitors for blood pressure checks and open houses and all that.
Okay.
Any other questions from the commissioners, board members? If not, I think we're ready for a motion.
All right. Well, then I'll ask the board to consider a motion to authorize staff to enter into a construction and development contract with WG Clark for the sum of, sorry about that. The bid is it's 10,170,000, and the associated cost with construction and management not to exceed $15,147,600. That's a big number for me, so I'm sorry if I stuttered.
So I'll move that we award the contract to WG Clark Construction Company for the construction of Fire Station 22 on North Road at $10,170,000 and authorize expenses associated with the construction and management not to exceed $15,147,600. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded by Commissioner Wittes, moved and seconded to award that bid and authorize those expenses. Is there discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
I will vote yes. I think we have done a lot of work and everything else. I think it's critical for all our constituents that we are really investing the next news station, and also that the union, all the people know that we do concern about the health and other things. And we want this brand new one that everybody will live there healthy, right? It's there's no more other problems in there. I think that's is a good investment for for the future.
Commissioner Rowland, go ahead, and then Commissioner Wonkelman. Commissioner
Uh,
Rowland.
I will say I've given this a lot of thought over the past week. And as a commissioner, I can't support awarding this contract to this vendor at this time due to the fact that they don't have any experience building fire stations. And when pressed on questions around the category for building type of construction that our fire stations are, they have limited experience there. We all know our fire stations are really complex facilities. They've got specialized needs, mechanical and life safety requirements. And I just believe that using an inexperienced contractor will increase the likelihood of things like construction errors, delays, and cost escalations through change orders and things that may result from their inexperience in the field. I want to at least note that I know that our architect firm here brings strong fire station experience, but as we all know, that design experience can't substitute for a contractor's proven ability to execute and deliver these type of projects in our field. So I really believe that our responsibility as a board needs to be to ensure that as we've been talking about through the bond measure, our critical public safety infrastructure is built with teams that have demonstrated capability. So based on the information that was presented last week and this week as well, I don't believe this award meets that standard. So I will be voting accordingly.
Commissioner Wonkelman, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I do. And first and foremost, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, I walked through Station 22, and what I saw there was just extremely concerning with the diesel carcinogenics that are coming from the rig, but also coming from the generator. Their boiler is beyond acceptable standards. I do believe that this is something that we need to vote yes to. I also do share the same concerns that Commissioner Rowland brought up. I'm not. I like people with experience because they know what they know, and what they don't know, it can come back to get us if we're not careful. With that, I had long conversations with different individuals that are familiar with this, and I do believe that this organization will be able to provide a high quality standard, even though that they have not done specific fire stations. I believe that they are capable of. And with that, I am leaning heavily both on Chief Maxwell and Chief Curtis' opinion of this. And so I will be voting in accordance with what they suggest.
Thank you. Other commissioner comments on, not commissioner comments, but other discussion on the motion to authorize the bid? Any other discussion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes on a 6-1 vote. Commissioner Rowland voting no. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners, and congratulations on our new fire station. I will update the board as we see fit moving forward. So thank you again.
Sounds good. Thank you. And thank you both for being here tonight. All right, that moves us forward then to item 9C, which is a presentation of resolutions to fund Station 22 replacement construction and subsequently reimburse the major facilities maintenance fund from bond proceeds. This is with CFO Bothwell.
Thank you, Chair. So I presented these last week. These are housekeeping resolutions that support the vote you just took. So the first one is for a resolution to amend the major facilities maintenance fund budget to include the cost for constructing the Station 22, so the contract you just approved. And again, just the reason we don't budget this during the annual budget cycle is because the value is too difficult to estimate before we have the actual contracts in. So that's why we bring it to you now. So that one is housekeeping. It is required to fund the construction. The second one is a resolution declaring intent to reimburse the capital expenditures to the Major Facilities Maintenance Fund. And this one would provide the opportunity for us, if successful with voters in the bond in the fall, to reimburse the Major Facilities Maintenance Fund for the cost to construct Station 22. That is assumed in the capital facilities plan. And so again, this is housekeeping. Happy to take any questions.
Any general questions on either proposed resolution for CFO Bothwell? Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
I just want to make a comment. A lot of people are wondering why we have this do it before even the bond being approvable. But I think because we started this a long time ago for 2022, time is critical for this station, because by moving down to the new site, it will give us a much better coverage on the lot area, especially Mill Creek area. Then again, is critical. We cannot just wait on, until the thing done. So because of the time sensitive of it, because we really want a good coverage of the area. So I think it's appropriate if anybody asking why we particularly for this station first. And I think that is our standard answer, right, Chief? Is that okay?
Any other general questions on the two resolutions? If not, we'll start with the first resolution that amends the budget to fund what we just approved for Station 22. So that's resolution I'll move the adoption of resolution 06162026-14, amending the budget reserve fund budget. Amending the building reserve fund budget to fund the construction of a replacement Station 22. Is there a second? No. Second by Commissioner Lawrence. So it's been moved and seconded to approve that resolution. Is there discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Commissioner, motion passes on a 6-1 vote. Commissioner Rowland voting no. Great, thank you. And then that turns us to our next resolution. And that's at page 61 of the packet. So I'll move the adoption of resolution 06162026-15, which is a resolution that authorizes the fire chief to reimburse capital expenditures from future borrowings if they're approved. Is there a second on the motion? Seconded by Commissioner Wittes. It's been moved and seconded to approve that resolution ending -15. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? Sorry. Oh, Commissioner Rowland, please go ahead.
Yeah, I do want to clarify that, my no votes here tonight reflect my initial concerns, not any disregard for the need to replace the station. I do realize that Station 22, there are valid concerns that really need to be addressed. I am just deeply concerned with, setting aside this money and going forward with this when I don't feel comfortable with the company that's delivering it, given the qualifications. So I do want to thank staff and everyone that's worked on this. I'm not discounting your engagement or your efforts either, but I have to do what I think's right. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this motion ending -15? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion passes on a 6-1 vote. Commissioner Rowland voting no. Very good. Thank you. And Chief Curtis, I think that that wraps up the Station 22 motions and resolutions.
Can't express how excited we are. So thank you very much.
Very good. And you'll let us know when there may be an opportunity for a groundbreaking.
We're getting some golden shovels as we speak.
Very good. Thank you. All right, that moves us forward in the agenda to item 10, unfinished business. And that starts with item 10A, which is personnel changes for 2026 for action with Chief Maxwell.
Thank you, Chair. Just to review, as I came as your new fire chief, I was reviewing gaps and needs across each division. I provided a sequence of each division since February. We had many discussions at the HR and Finance Committee, and then culminated at our workshop. I have an abbreviated presentation and a request for action at the end of it that will be summarized, so you do not have to remember everything in every slide. It will come up at the end of the slide. So with that, I'll quickly, this is just a quick review. You have seen all these slides before. So basically, looking at our organization, we've been talking for almost 2 years. We're maturating into a large, complex organization, and we need to change. We were in the past where we could rely on memory and word of mouth. We are less regulated. We are smaller and simpler, and that is not working for us anymore. We're not just building stations and buying apparatus or hiring people. We need to become systematized in creating an operating system for the future. We need to modernize our HR, right size our staffing, strengthen recruitment, and address construction and infrastructure needs. So one of my immediate requests are we've dubbed the Construction BC to help control cost and execution control, whether it be Station 22, whether it be the CFP. We are almost constantly working on construction projects at this time. We've grown, we have that many facilities. We always have an ongoing, usually moderate sized project going in our facilities. And I believe we'll control costs, but most likely save expenses and keep things on schedule or ahead of schedule, which can also mean cost savings, which usually means cost savings.
Should I ask a question now? Wait until the end. Wait until the end.
Okay, perfect. Thanks. So this is the org chart. It's in your packet, but I think we'll have better cost control, project management, better quality assurance. For a lot of even some of the concerns expressed here tonight, being a liaison with everybody. And quite honestly, our logistics division is quite small for the size we are. And the BC we have in there right now has already proved valuable. And I think Chief Curtis mentioned how valuable it was even getting ready for this project. Invaluable in operational efficiency and reducing costs. The next division is prevention. The board approved moving forward in our fire marshal division. We have a growing community. Our fire marshals are task saturated, trying to keep up with plan reviews. And we're going to need to upstaff both for that and to accomplish the inspections and the ongoing inspections that come behind that. The sense of urgency with this is it takes a long time. It can take 1 to 2 years to train up a deputy fire marshal. We have 2 trained up that we've been carrying for 18 months. And if we don't memorialize them now, they would have to go back to shift, and that would be an extreme waste of resource and training and education. So I'm asking, as part of this package, to memorialize those 2 deputy fire marshals. And in your packet, you'll see how that fits in the org chart. And then our HR, or what I've termed people and performance, when you look at all of our paid employees and volunteer, we're probably over 500 people. We're struggling or not maintaining data, doing analysis, hiring, promotions, extreme volume there. Recruiting and succession, job description, salaries, policies, manual workforce training. Even right-sizing that now, it's going to take a while to catch up on all of that. we need to create a recruitment pipeline. It can't be episodic hiring. Hiring is becoming competitive and challenging, not only externally, but internally. Like I've said, with our special teams, with promotions, we are in an absolute different landscape for hiring at this point. And we need to change that. And part of my recommendation is moving a deputy chief out of the fire marshal division that would be over recruitment, but also formalizing a chief over our volunteer program. I believe that volunteers are a human resource, and I would be moving that also under the people and performance or human resource division. And that will give support. It kind of gives surge capacity when we do hiring and promotion. It takes a lot of people. Everyone pitches in this building, and it's giving more of a surge capacity when we're doing hiring and promotion sessions. It takes the whole team a week sometimes to go through those processes, as well as having someone to support our people, because those are the hidden costs. When we lose someone in the academy or we lose someone in probation, there are significant costs involved when we've carried that employee and then we lose them. And this person will also be helping to make sure we are carrying those people through. This is just a snapshot, what we look at, what we go through on an annual basis, hiring 2 to 5 admin personnel, 10 to 20 volunteers or fire corps, 10 to 30 firefighters or paramedics. Now, if we move forward with like the CFP, we're going to surge even higher to upstaff certain stations there. Probation, you approved 25. We're sending probably 27 people to the academy this fall and another 25 in the spring. That's significant to manage, even in our organization of our size, to get them on board through the academy, and then you manage them through a year of probation. Promotions, 10 is probably low, and then usually about 10 retirements. I'm also going to take our health and safety chief and move them under people and performance, because they manage, support a lot of our L&I programs. And we, just like in this modern society, keeping people mentally and physically and healthy at work, we need to lean into that to really help keep people at work, keep them healthy, and figure out new ways to do that. I have myself there. I think I want to develop our volunteer program. I want to, re-envision it. I've been talking about that from the beginning, and I think there's a lot of opportunities. EMS, community medicine is where our demands are, and we need to look at that and how do we I guess angle our volunteer forces to the community need. So finally, this would be the summary for people in performance, asking for an assistant chief over that division, over the 2 deputy chiefs, and filling our director role. Also employee relations specialists that we talked about the workshop, the HR director, reclassifying the HR manager, the DC and captain moving in there, and the DC of recruitment reserves volunteers. Those are all already budgeted. This would be my timeline. As if this is approved tonight, so we'd immediately move the DCs and put in an AC on July 1st. Keep our consultant for a little bit of crossover. I think they could be helping with policies, manuals, and everything, and working on getting the HR director, and then later, once that's established, bring in the employee relations specialist in the fall, or as soon as they can make it happen. So in summary, here's the org chart. I realize it's really small. I'll just skip over because this is easier to read, but it's the same thing. So the AC of people and performance, the HR manager classification change, the employee relations specialist, the construction BC, the 2 deputy fire marshals, and then the ones in green, the director, the DC, the captain, the other DC, moving them under HR are already budgeted. It would be a the request for action tonight would be a total for the rest of the year, because I'd be going July 1st through the rest of the year, is 675,958, and then annualized to 1.399 million for future budgets, and that also includes with inflation. So that is my presentation tonight and my request for action, Chair and Board.
Great. Are there generalized questions on the subject in the presentation? Commissioner Fernhoff.
Yeah, Chief, you may have mentioned it, but either I fell asleep or maybe you glossed over it. Your single EMTs, right? Single purpose EMTs. It was on the slide, but I don't think we talked about that. I think that's an excellent vision. I think that really addresses wall times, and it really allows kind of a force multiplier to get people engaged in our department at a lower cost to the department, but a very meaningful mission with the potential road to come in on the fire side. These kinds of things, I think what you're doing in my vision, sharing your vision, is you're creating ladders, opportunities, growth throughout the department, plus stabilizing us in a way that as we mature, as we like to call it, the metro-sized department, that we will have this ready to this infrastructure ready to go in an expandable way, like ICS is an expandable system. So I really enjoy what you've put together. It's a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of staff's time, right? So yeah, looks good.
I don't think you missed a thing. You probably you praised that quite well. Yeah, and that would probably be one of my priority requests as we move into the budget season. And this would give us the infrastructure to get there, if that's what you were saying. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Wittes.
I just want to say, like I kind of said last time, Chief Curtis, I think, is more than capable of handling all the construction that's out there. However, he's one person, and I don't think he can do that and do all those other jobs he has to do, which is significant, I realize. So I think that's like a time management thing that we need. I think the same thing with HR. I don't think our fire chief should be devoting 60% of his time, probably. Never heard what it is, but it's probably about that, to a single focused area that I think an assistant chief would help tremendously in. And if I did see that right in the slide, that is continuing on hiring a HR director, correct?
Yeah, both, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Other general questions, comments? Commissioner Chan.
Actually, I want to talk two things first. The construction BC, what does BC stand for?
Battalion Chief.
I'm really concerned about, can we just hire professional construction person to do it? The one have done the constructions and know how to manage and bought projects and all that? Should you be more reasonable on that? Then rather than a uniform person.
I appreciate that, and we've discussed that quite extensively, Commissioner Chan. They're going to be a liaison with all the professionals, and they understand the stations, the fire service, but they're much more than that. They're also helping with fleet management, apparatus design, logistics, because we need to improve our processes for ordering all the fire equipment, ordering all the EMS equipment. So they're going to be a Swiss Army knife, but we also need that assistance with all our construction projects. They're going in, and sometimes they understand more than what the civilian understands when they go into a station. They're our representative. They're actually protecting our money, moving things along faster, and they're watching out for us. And the one we've had in there has already saved us a significant amount of money.
But the competency on the construction itself. So does he know the construction talk?
Actually,
that's my biggest concern about,
yep.
You know.
The one I'm looking at has done a ton of contracting, actually.
So when he retires, you're going to find another person have that? But do they have to be a uniform person?
Yeah, that could be
a combination of both.
Right, that could be in my calculus, but also this is moving into areas where say hypothetically, if we move forward with the capital facilities plan, maybe that, you know, after that, we don't need that battalion chief anymore.
So that position may not be needed in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what it'll look like in 10 years, but right, correct.
Okay, okay, so, the second thing is that, you know, that during HR, you know, committee, we talk about that, the whole HR thing. I don't have the budget, so I was asking for a budget, but this is the first time I've ever seen this budget. So I was not involved in how much it costs. And I'm really concerned about if you bring in all these people all at one time, and how they can resolve it. And to me, a proper way for an HR person, first of all, demanding the needs, write up the job descriptions. And what do they need? How many hours do they really need to do it? But we did not go through that process. The reason I let it get out of the committee, so you can have a general, other people, how other commissioner feel, but I just need more time to look at that $640,000 in this. And then also, we got to be really sensitive in here that we are making a $420 million bonds, okay? And suddenly, we have this, suddenly not the additional 600 and some $1,000, and $600,000 continue every year. So I would rather see it slowly bring them in rather than, you know, all in one chunk, and I don't know you can absorb it. And I do have really questions about, on one hand, we said, I know in the general, people don't look good at the AI and everything else. The job market is not that great, especially for a lot of situations. And I just know that we being the largest, organized fire department in here, and I think a lot of the people would love to have that opportunity. So I would no vote at this time, not because I opposed to it, but I just do not have I don't think I have enough information on that. Yeah.
If I
So-
didn't think that this was reducing operational risk, reducing cost, and reducing general risk, I would not bring this forward. We will still stay
No.
lean, and it will probably still take a couple of years to catch up.
No, I understand that, but it's not, I don't believe you, okay? I don't have the data. The way I judging thing is the data. Do we really need anything? I always mention that let's hire the HR first before let other things in there. So I'm just, is the timing for me to just jump in, because I did, thought about, okay, what a budget, but then I was told that you hadn't have a budget yet I'm not. I thought this would be a good time to look at the budget and the effect, but it is a huge budget increase. So, yeah.
Well, I could also say, if we lose a probationary employee after a year, you're looking at $200,000. I think there are hidden costs that we don't see and we don't talk about, and those are quickly consumed compared to this small amount, actually.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I just, you bring in all these people, that will help, or, see, I did not have any information. I'm just,
Okay.
okay, I just need more time.
Thank you.
For data and everything else in there. But I'm really concerned about this big jump of thing. Okay. So
I
now
respect
I'm hate by
that.
everybody now.
Thank you.
I
Thank
hope
you.
you said nothing personal, nothing, anything, okay?
I never take it personal with you, Commissioner Chan.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we've got Commissioner Fernhoff, then Commissioner Rowland, then Commissioner Wonkelman, and so Commissioner Fernhoff.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chief. I just wanted to say that in this particular case, when we're talking about your BC for oversight of construction, it is where the stars have aligned in a very particular way, because, and I appreciate Commissioner Chan's comments and maybe his view of uniformed personnel as a singular function. that you do firefighting, that you do EMS, that you do whatever it is that you do in the fire department. But guess what? You have a life elsewhere. And there are firefighters that own businesses. There are firefighters that are in the construction business, that are in the water delivery business, that have all sorts of talents outside the fire service. And in this particular case, we're talking about, if I understand it correctly, who I've met with the individual, that you have a battalion chief that is literally in this kind of construction and may have been one of the bidders to build our fire stations had they not had a conflict of interest, for example. Just as an aside. So I think we need to look at the opportunity, and that's what you're talking about right now. If the person retires, maybe we'll offer him a contract in civilian life. Who knows? All sorts of options are available. And I don't believe anything that you've presented to us tonight, anything that I see in this packet wasn't discussed already in the workshop, right? I mean, for every item that I heard you say this evening, that was in the workshop because it was like hearing a repeat performance, and I appreciated the continuity. So I don't think should be any news to anybody as far as the board is concerned. And that's just my opinion, that people could have been not present in so many ways. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioner Rowland, please go ahead.
Yeah, I do think that more information would be nice around this individual that we have in mind. I do wonder about, I mean, if we're creating a new BC position, what implications does that have because it's union represented when we want to transition it to a civilian? If we were, taking the approach that Commissioner Fernerhoff was talking about. I myself was unable to attend the retreat because of work conflicts that I could not readjust. So I may not have all the information that you do on that, but it does seem like some of the other commissioners don't as well. I do think that making sure that we have someone, whatever uniformed or not uniformed, that has deep experience in construction and knows how to ask the right questions is absolutely critical. I support making sure that that position is properly staffed so that as we go through these construction projects, I know that our bond measure covers 10 is intended to run for 10 years as far as the construction side of it. But as we know, construction projects often run longer, and the needs of the community 10 years from now, I think we'll be surprised at how much we see as far as growth and unanticipated growth that we're going to have to also address as we go along. So it may be a longer term position. So I just want to make sure that while we may have a uniformed personnel that is qualified and is the one that you may have in mind for fulfilling that need, are they going to be here 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 15 years from now? And if not, making sure that we have whatever that future plan is. If we're not, then all of a sudden, just because it's not this perfect person, switching it to a civilian role, or now we're stuck with having to keep headcount in the BC. I don't know how that'll all work out. So I do have concerns around that. I just want to make sure that we have proper oversight with proper experience.
Commissioner Rowland, you bring up a good point, and that was one of the things I proposed at the workshop is working before I install this position, working on an MOU with the union. And that way, if we no longer need a construction BC, we won't have kind of what you described occurring. So that was one of kind of the new thoughts that I proposed at the workshop.
Okay. Yeah, I think maybe it would make more sense at this point to go with not having it be a uniform position, but if this individual is qualified and they wanted to transition to it, making that possible, that would be my preferred route. But I don't have all the facts around this, so makes it hard to say yay or nay on that. The other point that I wanted to make is I definitely understand the need for making sure that we have our people and performance taken care of. Whenever I see an org chart that looks like the one that you presented, where you've got um, uh, that AC, and then you have a kind of on the same level but related but not, that HR director position, that always makes me go, okay, if we've got kind of two roles that are at the same level, we end up it there's a German expression, it klingt komisch. It sounds funny. There's just something that rings kind of weird about it. And that's just more of, having looked at organizational charts in the past. And this particular one with that little weirdness has me just thinking that maybe we haven't completely thought out that strategy in a way that then makes sense when it comes to the org chart. Yeah, those are my two observations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Up next is Commissioner Wankelman, then Commissioner Lawrence. Commissioner Wankelman, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you for the brief, Chief. So I've done extensive research, had multiple conversations over the past 2 months on these topics. First, I'd like to start with the BC. I have sat down multiple times with the potential BC that will be taking this position, and his knowledge on construction, his knowledge on capabilities, his knowledge on the reality of the entire ecosystem based off of the multitude of projects that he has completed and worked on through, I believe it is a family business, is extensive, and his knowledge on it is greater than any suit or tie could possibly have. Because when talking to him, relating it into terms I understood through the military, relating it into terms both that I took to professional contractors that are friends of mine that are doing massive projects for the government, continually rang true. And a lot of the things that were even said were the things that don't typically come up in a conversation. And so I have full confidence in this individual. I have complete confidence that he will be doing what is best for the organization, that he is minded on and has an understanding of apparatuses and all the details, just like what he did for Mill Creek when the contractors didn't put an alarm in the sleeping quarters in the trailers. He was able to catch that before it turned into a fiasco. And so this individual is of such high recommendation. I cannot, state it enough on how much I am hoping that we can agree that this is the individual we need to help offset the burden of stress that Chief Curtis is currently facing. So I fully and totally and completely support that. Going to the AC of HR. This has been one, as most people know. I mean, I have read the human resource management for, first responders and fire management textbooks. And this is a challenging conversation because unfortunately most corporate HRs do not speak the language of first responders. And there is a disconnect when you're just dealing with policy, when you're just dealing with the legal aspects. There is oftentimes a disconnect in communication because you might be speaking English, but you're communicating in completely different terms. And I am fully supportive of putting an AC. To be honest with you, this is the number one priority from everything that I've researched. I consider this a higher priority than any CFP. I consider this a higher priority than any other aspect within this organization because this is the number one choke point. This is where more waste is occurring. This is where more challenges are happening. This is where more future situations are being created. We heard it from our insurance that, before it was operational, now it's human resources. And so I think it is time that we absolutely invest in the right people in this position. I do believe it is an AC that is able to speak the language, an AC that is able to accomplish the mission, and an AC that is capable of meeting the first responders, the labor where they're at, helping them overcome the challenges they could be facing, and getting this organization structured in a way where we can start to prepare for tomorrow rather than react to yesterday. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes, I'll second the notion there that Commissioner Wonkelman just laid out on human resources. This we talked about a long time. It's extremely important. As to the BC as our owner's representative is building ships, the owner that's going to take the ship has got his representative there, and that person has to be usually an ex-chief engineer or chief mate or master. And you got to know your stuff. In this position, it's probably more important that he has the understanding of what a fire station needs and how it's being constructed than it is a contractor or that knowledge. Because and if he's somebody that, you know, that we respect of credibility and integrity, he's going to find out about something in the general construction that maybe he's not familiar with. So it's much more important for the firefighting background. And as far as yeah, and I do believe you guys come up with a good plan, put a lot of time into it, and I think you got it right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Chan.
Well, maybe I say it wrong such a way. I want to reference back to Commissioner Fernhoff. It's not that I only know firemen can do just one thing, right? It's not that they don't know anything else. That is an insult to me, my knowledge and everything else. I know every single fire person's capable of a lot of things, but I do not like, well, first of all, I hope you can defer this. I did not realize that we are going to vote for that with the first time I ever seen the $600,000 budget. Okay, so if you can give me another meeting, whatever, I probably can take a look at that. And secondly, I don't really go down to the weeds. Okay, I don't know. I don't go back and say, oh, who's a candidate? I'm going to talk to the candidate. Who's this? Who's that? Who's that? That is your job. You know, to qualify. I think critical is that I wish we have the number, job description for all this new position. I know exactly what they do and that type of thing. And then the salary, and then you go to that. So I was completely shocked. Maybe I wasn't, maybe we should have to go back to another committee, go back to the HR committee, HR finance committee, what it costs. I've been warning that I do not know what the costs of these are. So anyway, Commissioner Kenny say something, disagree, but much a better way. I'm a very straightforward guy. And so that's the reason had I know the $600,000, I would know more, and I would a better decision to make.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I apologize. I thought I communicated that with you. I apologize.
No, I never seen I don't know the position number. I don't think you ever done it. Send it to us. Thank you.
I just wanted to comment that part of the reason why I participated in promoting Chief Maxwell to fire chief back in the beginning in February is in part for him to take a look at the organization with fresh eyes going forward, having been serving in our organization for decades. And I feel like he has done that and identified the needs going forward. And I appreciate that. That's why in this first four and a half months, that's part of what I want him to do as a new fire chief and to evaluate that. And I feel like this proposal, it's not all about more positions. There is some changing of positions in the fire marshal's office. But we do need that evaluation of what we need. And so I appreciate Chief Maxwell bringing it forward, and it does cost money. But I feel like this is not just related to Chief Maxwell, but kind of the path we were set on this time last year in the 2025 spring workshop with Chief Eastman, where we talked about the roadmap. And last year in 2025 was a focus on the field or operations and increases there, and kind of a path forward into the future on the operations or customer forward side of our operations. This is a little bit more in my mind of a back office or administrative functions, which are different but no less important to keep the field, our field operations running. And so just as important, but just a different facet of it. In 2025, we were focused on public facing. Here in 2026, this is a little more back office facing, but all just as important as we move into the future. And the bond is actually a portion of this, as it allows us to actually have the facilities to have the service in the field that we want if the voters agree with it. So what I'm saying is this, it's all related. And what we did in 2025 relates to this, relates to what's coming in future years. I might not agree with every last thing, but I believe the chief is serving the function that we asked him to do, which is evaluate the organization, come forward with his proposals for what we need as staffing changes. He's done that. I feel it's my obligation to support that, and we'll see how all of the pieces tease out. I do feel that Chief Maxwell is willing to evaluate the validity or the merits of these positions. Once they're in play or in place, so that 6 months from now or a year from now, if it looks like it's not working out, it's not like, no, it's got to be that way because Chief Maxwell wanted it that way in June of 2026. I feel like he is a chief who will evaluate these and will come back to us and say, this piece isn't working, let's change it. And so I feel good about knowing that Chief Maxwell is not like hard-headed tied to these things in perpetuity, but rather we'll evaluate them going forward. So I support the package, and I support Chief in this evaluation. It's important as a new chief to do this. I think it's important to support him as we move forward together, trying to find the best path forward. And we don't all have to agree. That's okay. That's part of the process. But I appreciate all the work the chief has put into it, and I think it's important to set us up for future success.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Commissioner Rowland, please go ahead.
I definitely echo your confidence in Chief Maxwell. I've been impressed with his judgment for a long time. I do know that, as a board, one of the things that we've always tried to do is try to give the opportunity for commissioners that need more time to drive consensus. If we can get there, and it's an easy path, and it's not something that has to be done, right now, that, delaying at one meeting in the past hasn't hurt anything, that we do that just to make sure that we have everybody comfortable on board and everybody has the information they can have. So I would be okay with just waiting till the next meeting to take the final vote on this if it has no negative implications, to make sure that our fellow commissioners are fully informed and have the information they need to be comfortable voting. Yes.
Any other general questions or discussion on the issue? Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
I just want clarification. So you will be adjusting 2026 budget, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So actually, right at the beginning, I already said that somehow I thought you were involved in 2026 budget. So I'm not blaming you, just blaming the Passover is really bad, because I was assuming that you're already working with Chief Eastman about all this, because he only had 1 month. So anyway, so this doesn't look really good to the outside people, saying we have to adjust such a huge amount to adjust in 2026 budget. I hope you guys can delay one more meeting. If not, I definitely just have to me. And I think I need to devote more time to understand each one of the assistant chief do. I did that with Joe, so maybe I really learn from each one of the assistant chief. You don't mind actually what they do and get a more understanding, get me feel more comfortable what we're doing.
Any other general questions, comments on the issue? Commissioner Rowland, your hand is still up. Do you have another question, comment?
I would just say that I move that we postpone this till our next meeting.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to postpone the issue till the next meeting. Is there discussion on that motion? Commissioner Wittes?
What concerns me about this is we've talked about this for almost the last year. We went through it extensively at the workshop. It's been described to us numerous times. And my fear, being in your position in the past, you got to get moving on. You got to get things done. And if you don't, and the board delays it, which has happened a few times to me, it just takes longer and longer to get everything else done. 6 months from now, when something else isn't done, it's like, why isn't that done? Well, because this didn't get done the first time. So I'd just like to have it done tonight. Thank you.
Commissioner Fernhoff and then Commissioner Lawrence. Commissioner Fernhoff.
Yeah, I just want to echo Commissioner Wittes's sentiment. Again, we've gone over this, I think, in private session. Chief, you've had hours with commissioners on and off about this topic, and I'm just prepared to move forward.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes, double echo that Commissioner Wittes's statement there. It's time to move on. We've had plenty of time.
Commissioner Rowland, then Commissioner Wankelman. Commissioner Rowland, please go
Oh,
ahead.
nope. Like I said, this is something I think we as a board need to be consistent with and need to get a practice around, because it seems like there's some times where we're willing to give commissioners the space they need, and sometimes where we just are okay with ignoring their uncomfort, or discomfort with a particular subject that they may not have their heads wrapped around, and we just go, well, we're okay with it, so let's just do it. And I've been guilty of that too. There's sometimes where I'm just like, I'd like to move on tonight, and we've delayed. And sometimes where I've been on that side too. I think we have a real inconsistency with it as far as just culture and practice. And I think it would very much benefit us to, if we don't delay this tonight, really kind of take some time to think about what a good approach would be going forward. I'm not saying every single time one commissioner has an issue, we should just delay things and delay it. But doing something that's going to increase the budget by $500,000 this year, and it's not going away, so is definitely going to increase the budget next year by a significant amount. Once those numbers are in hand, making sure that we can ask questions and then absorb it and come back and make a good vote is just good standard practice. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt anything. I do support the chief. I do know we need to move on these things. Some things you have to move on right now, and some things, if you wait, one meeting, it doesn't hurt. And I think maybe we need to figure out what that gauge is and be consistent with it, because this creates, I know I've felt it at times where I needed more time, somewhat of a disrespect of, you don't know enough, or you're just not comfortable with it, but that's too bad. That's too bad. We don't want more time. We don't want more opportunity for thought. And it feels, when you're on the receiving end of it, and I think most of us have been at times where we wanted to just slow something down and the board went ahead, it feels a little disrespectful. And to maintain the cohesive nature of our board and good relations, I think we need to just think about this. So I'll defer to the board to make whatever decision they want. I just want you guys to know that I'm trying to maintain some sort of respect for our fellow board members in doing this. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wankelman, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. First and foremost, I definitely hear what Commissioner Rowland is saying, and I want to say thank you for delaying, because I was just in that spot not too long ago. And it helped me understand a lot, being new to this. And so I definitely can understand and appreciate that. One area that I will say is that this isn't a new conversation. And for me, I you can even put that where I was a couple weeks ago. I know that there is a lot of trying to wrap our head around the budget. I know the budget was presented, at least I remember seeing the budget about a month ago and the increases and what it would cost. And that is when I also asked, how much are we losing per day? And I currently on HR challenges because there is a loss per day that we are taking. Kind of like if we were to delay on the CFP a year, we would lose 18 or it would cost $18.4 million more next year. And so that was the reason for the response that we had because we want to give the best product to the population and be good stewards of the funding that they are providing. I understand that this is an increase and it is challenging, especially when we are looking at the economic times we are going. And no one, I am so hyper aware of this that I am studying it daily, the impact of how taxes interact with poverty. With that being said, I am still also of the mindset in movement. There are times when we have to understand and make the decisions, even if it's the hard ones. And I have been in those situations where you have to make a decision with the limited information that you have. With that, I will go to the boards and respect the board's decision on this, recognizing that the board gave me time to process the CFP and see if there were maybe some other options earlier this month. And I just truly respect and appreciate that. And I want to make sure I'm also a person that uh, um, doesn't contradict that generosity by not providing it to other commissioners who might need extra time. So thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion, which is to delay this issue to the next regular meeting? Any other discussion on the motion? All right, the motion is to delay to the next meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And all opposed? Nay. And Commissioner Wonkelman, I did not see how you voted.
I'm going to abstain from this one because I wanted the board to
The
decide.
motion- Thank you. The motion fails on a 2-4-1 vote. That brings us back to the main issue, but we haven't actually had the main motion, which I think we're probably ready for, which is I'll move that we approve the chief's staffing requests as presented this evening.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the chief's staffing requests. Is there discussion on that motion?
Yes.
Commissioner Chan, please go ahead.
I just want to say that I vote no, not because I don't trust Chief Willis. I don't trust Chief Willis, but I trust Chief Maxwell. And I already conceded that HR report to the assistant chief, right? So I just want to know, I'm a data guy, I'm a auditor, I need the numbers and everything else in there. And so that's the reason I vote no, not because I definitely hope, all you do is good. I mean, everything worked out. And a long time ago, I told you to go and hire the executive of HR first, and then rearrange the thing. And eventually, I'd like to see all the job descriptions and qualification and all of that. I hopefully in a month, I probably will be, boy, you guys are genius.
I appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the motion to approve the chief's staffing requests? Any other discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 And Commissioner
Aye.
Chan? And all those opposed? Commissioner Chan, nay. The motion passes on a 6-1 vote. Commissioner Chan voting no.
Thank you
Very
so
good.
much for your support.
Thank you, Chief. And with that, I think we are ready to take our break. We're well overdue for our mid-meeting break. So let's take at least a 10-minute break or so till about 8 after 9. And without objection, we'll be in a brief recess. Thank you. All right, we are back on the record from our recess and ready to start in on item 10B, which is 2027 budget calendar, budget development calendar for action with CFO Bothwell.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, so last week I presented the proposed 2027 budget development calendar. We went through that in some detail, and the chair asked if there was a chance to move, if we had the option to move the public hearing that was tentatively or proposed to be on October 6th. So I looked at the requirements related to that, to those public hearings. We don't have to have the public hearings anytime. We can have them anytime up until the vote on the budget and the levies and the benefit charge. So in your packet materials, there are two versions and they have a watermark. Version 1 is what we brought you last week, so unchanged, just for reference, with the public hearings on the 6th. And then version 2, the one that's watermarked version 2, has the public hearings moved to October 20th. So that's the updated proposal based on that question. But just for the record, you can move that public hearing to any meeting in November too, if you prefer to delay it further. So it's completely up to the board. And
so, Mr. Bothwell, thank you for doing that. And I do actually like that version too, just for this reason that if the public hearing is at the first meeting of October, that'd be October 6th. That's the first meeting after the presentation of the chief's budget on the meeting on September 15th. Any public comment or public hearing would not be informed by discussion of the board or staff in the meetings in October. And I wouldn't want to delay that till the very end, but I feel like to give an opportunity to hear some informed comment and discussion, and because there's always good, one of the things I like about having that, getting the chief's budget before October is it gives us then lots of time to discuss it. And some years it's hot and there's lots of discussion and ideas, and other years it's quiet as a mouse and it's just the chief's proposed budget and that's it. And I don't know how this year is going to be, but I've seen it go both ways. And I just feel like for anybody from the public to provide informed comment, it might be nice for them to have at least a couple of meetings to see that play out before they have we have a public hearing. And so that was my thought on having it delayed a little bit, but not too long into our budget calendar. So I do actually like the version 2. So thank you for putting that together. But generally on the issue, thoughts, comments on the budget calendar options? Well, not seeing any, I will move we adopt version 2 of the 2027 budget development calendar, which the difference being it puts the public hearing on the October 20th regular meeting. So it's been moved to adopt the version 2 of the budget calendar. Is there a second? Commissioner, I think Commissioner Lawrence got that one. It's been moved and seconded to adopt version 2. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Great. Thank you. All right, that moves us forward in the agenda then to item 10C, which is redistricting. And so we do have our redistricting meeting set for Tuesday. Sorry, just getting my packet open here. For Tuesday, June 30th at Edmonds, downtown Edmonds Station 17, 6 to 8 p.m. We'll call that for a special meeting so all the commissioners can be there. Do actually encourage you to attend. We'll have the 4 maps up. There'll be opportunities to talk to anybody that wants to come in and talk about redistricting. Chief will be there, and you don't have to attend, but it'd be nice if you can attend. It'd be an opportunity to engage with the public a little bit in person about the maps, particularly Edmonds, which is most directly not everybody's affected by the maps, but maybe they're more affected this first time on this redistricting than everybody else. So good opportunity to talk about redistricting and maybe kind of a niche issue that not everybody is, familiar with, but it is actually important, and it is an important issue related to that we have an obligation to bring to completion sometime soon vis-a-vis Edmonds. So that's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, June 30th. Great. All right. Just wanted to note that we've got that set. Any questions or comments on it? Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, Edmonds are really sensitive about the redistricting. I think there are quite a few people are interested in running in there. So if Christie is any way we can make it advertising again and something like that, so that there always are suspicions that us not getting them know about things. So newspaper or whatever, I think that's good.
Any other questions, comments? Great, thank you. Let's see, that moves us forward in the agenda to committee updates, item 11. So we'll start first with capital facilities. Commissioner Wankelman.
I better talk about that.
Yes, Commissioner Lawrence, go ahead.
Basically, Christy talked to us about what she's planning on telling everybody tonight. And so what you heard tonight was what we kind of talked about. That's it.
Great, thank you. Next up is Finance and Human Resources, Commissioner Chan.
Yeah, our meeting is June 25th, and
Mike, sorry, yeah, President.
I want people to hear about me. Yeah, June 25th, and Bob, CFO probably will, and I going to figure out the issue we're going to discuss. Thank you.
That takes us then to intergovernmental, Commissioner Wittes.
Thank you. We're having a meeting tomorrow, I believe it is, just informational update of Booker T or anything else. I'll be zooming on that one. Thank you.
What time?
1 o'clock.
Is that 1 o'clock? Melissa, still 1 o'clock. She won't be here. Tomorrow it's at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock, okay.
And that takes us then to Snow 911, Commissioner Fernhoff.
We have a meeting on this Thursday. I'm not sure. I think it's just virtual. I don't know that I've gotten a in-person invite. So do you concur, Chief?
I have both virtual and regular appointments on my calendar.
Okay. So we'll have an update for the next meeting following this meeting. Thank you very much.
That sounds good. That takes us forward then to commissioner comments. Are there any commissioner comments?
Yeah.
Commissioner
Go first.
Okay.
Commissioner Wittes, go
I
ahead.
just wanted to say we have a firefighter, Kurt Hilt, that tonight was sworn in as a new mayor of Lake Stevens. And I just think that's
good.
outstanding for him. And looking back when he started his career and we started our careers, we would never, ever believed would ever be elected. Thank you.
And he's retired too, going to retire, right?
No,
But he said he's going to be
oh, we did.
full-time until after retirement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I just,
Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
I'm so glad that the bond thing is all gone, all done. And it's amazing that I have to contribute to our past commissioner have done that, because I'm just from 6 station now to 15, right? So I want to say, Chief Matters, Commission Matter, and and Schrock and Judge.
Oh, Will and Judge?
Yeah, Owen Judge and McGahee, and those are the people I think really work hard to get us to here. Thank all, and other people hasn't mentioned yet, but they include, if I remember all their name, I'll say it again too.
Any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Lawrence, go ahead.
I've said this before, and that is there's 7 people here on the board, all professionals of some sort or another. And we're kind of like, we're kind of like minimum wage employees that provide a huge resource and for the staff to bounce ideas off. And we do this, what's the expression? Well, I forget what it is. Anyway, where we brainstorm ideas, and you guys maybe have an idea you present to us, but somebody says something here that makes you guys think. I know my wife is always doing my thinking for me, and it works out. So so that's good. But sometimes, when we talk about something for 6 months, a year or 2 years, and it's time to make a decision, I mean, it's either fish or cut bait. So we went fishing tonight. Thank you.
Any other commissioner comments? Well, this is our last regular meeting before the 4th of July, so I just wish everybody a happy 4th of July on our nation's, I believe, 250th anniversary, and hope that everybody has a happy and safe 4th of July this year. So with that, our next, we have a special meeting, our redistricting open house. It won't actually be a substantive action meeting, Tuesday, June 30th, 6 p.m. But our next regular meeting is June 7th, Tuesday, June 7th. Well, I'm sorry, we have another special meeting down in Edmonds at the Round Table, Monday, July 6th, 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m. But special meeting, again, won't be substantive. So our next regular meeting, Tuesday, July 7th at 7 p.m. right back here. So everybody have a safe 4th of July. And we have no other business. So without objection,
Chair.
Oh, sorry, Chief, I'm sorry, you had something.
Just a really quick one follow-up. The Niedermans or the diesel exhaust capture systems at the 3 Edmonds stations, we're getting quotes. We are working on that. That was requested at the workshop. And I just wanted to tell everyone we are working on it.
Thank you. Sounds good. Thank you for that update. With no other business to come before the board, we are, without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you.